Yay. Okay, so we got that part done, looking all good and stuff. I'm turning off the transparency to see better. So we have this kind of chair going on here. So from this point, what I would probably do is actually do a better job than what I currently have and try to sculpt it. Some suggestions on how to do that would be to, just use like this standard brush, BST. That's the standard brush. And then some cool things you can do, this is what I'm actually going to do in class later, but is if you go to drag rectangle, and then I can go down here, and you see this one's like a diamond cut. I can actually use that to make this kind of interesting shape. Now, what's going to end up happening when I go to draw this, oh, I got to be on the right layer here. When I actually go to draw this, it's going to draw this basic diamond shape, okay? But you can see, and if I hold Alt, it'll go inwards, but you can see it's too low res. So I'm going to do is I'm just going to up-res this. So I'm just underneath the geometry over here. Geometry, I'm going to hit divide. And I'm going to divide it a couple times. Okay. I'm just going to hit smooth real quick on that. All right. And so I'm just going to say, well, you'll see what I'm doing. So I'm going to hold Alt. I'm going to click and sort of drag. You know what? Instead of doing it like that, I'm going to go and I'm going to do the drag dot. And I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller, and you'll see now it'll kind of go where my brush goes. Okay, so make this a little bit bigger. Actually, that's a little too small. Okay, so I'm gonna hold Alt as I do it, and it's gonna make an indent. Okay, so we'll go like that, and then I'll put one next to it, which I did not do a very good job. Okay, let's try this again. Boom, and boom. And do I have X symmetry? I did not. Okay, well I should have had that on. Then we'll kind of go up here. Boom. And boom. Boom. And it's kind of, yeah, get over here. Put one there. I'm going to turn X symmetry off just for the center one because it's kind of not working that well there. Boom. Okay. And what I'm going to get is almost, I'm going to kind of smooth that out a little bit. It's almost like an indent pattern that you would typically see where you would have buttons. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the buttons in there. So I'm just going to click in here, and I'm just going to choose kind of a hard one like this one. And I'll just keep using the drag dot. Let me see how big this is. You can see that's too big. So I'm actually going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to click and put a button, put a button, put a button, put a button, because basically wherever it was inset would make a button, as you can see. And now it kind of has that kind of feeling, right? And then I would just go through and particularly try to sculpt, keep that brush, maybe change this alpha to something a little more like this. Take off, come on, take off the, go to freehand, and then just try to take my Z intensity down a touch, and then try to more or less, draw some, oops, not that, draw some wrinkles and things like that to kind of push that out a little bit more to really get kind of the idea that these are like, it looks horrible, but, do a good job, not a bad job like I'm doing, but, to kind of make it look a little bit more like that's what it is. Okay, so I think you get kind of the idea. But I'd go through and I'd sculpt that all up and make that look a little bit better, so it would look kind of like the imprints of a chair. Okay, but the whole point of this is just to show you some various things that you can do. All right. Okay, so now if I hit Shift F, you'll notice that when we made this, you see how there's different colors? Basically, these are polygroups. Now, because we used the what do you call it, shadow box in order to make this, the polygroups aren't that good. But you'll notice that when you use ones that start out as objects, the polygroups are a bit better. So if you look at this one, oh, I made it all one polygroup. Hang on a second. Never mind. None of these are good. These all suck. Okay, well, forget it. But basically what you can do is that, I turned my visibility off. Well, never mind. I'm not going to bother with that. Not going to be all that helpful. Let's see. Okay, yeah. So let me just show you mesh extraction. I think that'd actually be pretty helpful. So let's say for some reason I wanted to have like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of what would be good. Like there's supposed to be a a trim here or something, right? Now I could try to sculpt this, you know, and it might work okay. But if I wanted to make it like thicker and more like what this is, I'd be better off actually making another piece, because technically it'd be another piece, right? So to do that, I'm just going to use mesh extraction. So while you're on this layer, I'm going to turn this back to, oops, I'm going to turn this one actually to, where are you? This one. Is that the best one I got? Looks like it. Okay. Because that way it'll sculpt, you'll see, oops, sorry. I'm going to change my mask here to freehand, and then my alpha, so I'm holding control, and then I'm turning this to the alpha. Okay, so that way when I draw, it'll draw a rectangle. Okay. Now the other thing I want to do is this. I'm going to hit X to get symmetry again. But the other thing I want to do is that I can try to do this by hand, and that was actually pretty good. But most of the time, it's going to be kind of difficult to do. So I'm actually going to go to my stroke tool set here, and I'm just going to take my lazy mouse, and I'm just going to make it. It's not really helping. Stroke. Let me see. Make sure you got lazy mouse on. Lazy smooth. Okay. Stroke. We'll just up some of these here. I'm not really getting the. Oh, see, it's doing it on there. It's not really. Oh, you know why? Because I wasn't in control when I was doing it. Okay, so turn lazy mouse on while I have this, and let's see. There we go. You see how it kind of drags behind? It'll make a much smoother line. So now I'm just going to go ahead and make this draw size a little bit bigger, like that. And I'm going to hold. Oof. Hang on a second. Let me try that again. I'm going to hold control as I mask, and I'm just going to kind of pull up. Okay, like so, and boom. Good. You know, you might even want to go through and like clean it up a little bit. Okay, so let's say that looked good. It doesn't, but let's say it did. What I can do actually from this now is actually use that, what I masked, oops, accidentally, and make that into a new object. Okay, so with that selected, all I gotta do is I go down here, and inside of the subtool, you can see where it says extract. So you hit extract, boop, and it's going to make a new subtool for you. Now, if you, this is an older version, what you'll have to do is after you hit extract, you'll see underneath it, it'll say like accept or like add to subtool or something. You're going to want to click on that, and that will pop up there too. But now this is a new object, so I can select that, so you can see it's still masked, and I can control, click, and drag, and now that's another piece that's on there, and I can, you know, sculpt on it like I would sculpt anything else, and that's pretty neat. Okay, pretty neat. Okay, so I don't know why I would need that, but now if I hit shift, never mind, it doesn't look very good. Okay, so yada yada yada. What I would go through to then is I'm gonna go as far as this will go, and then when the movie or the thing cuts out, it cuts out. Then I'm gonna go to this, and I'm just gonna convert. You can see how it's kind of hard edge. I'm gonna convert this. Go ahead and convert this to the Dynamesh, just because it's a little bit easier. So go down to geometry, click Dynamesh, and I am just going to, you know, control click, and I'm just going to kind of build up some of the surface here. I'm just going to have to switch this back to off and leave that on freehand's fine. And my stroke, I'm actually going to turn lazy mouse off and relative. I don't find that they help all that much. And good, we're still on that. So I'm just going to basically just sculpt a little, or yeah, just sculpt on and make it a little more, hold shift after to smooth it, just make it a little more uneven. Okay, so it looks a little more natural. We'll just do a little bit of alt in there, smooth that out. All right, good. Now that looks acceptable, maybe, I don't know. All right, okay, so I got that going on. What was the next thing I was going to do with that? Oh, okay. So one thing that I can do, I already showed you the divisions. Okay. So let's say I wanted to test some things out, like make it lumpier or less lumpier. I can use layers. Where are you? Layers. There it is. Layers menu. And you just click the new sheet of paper. It'll make a new layer. Okay. And then everything that you do will be added to that layer. Because see how it's recording? And then you can turn it. Oh, maybe I didn't turn it on yet. Okay. Hang on a second. Now we'll turn it on. Come on. Okay. weird. Okay, no, it is recording. All right. But if I were to stop that and turn it off, you can see that it's there or not there. So basically, it gives you kind of the, you can actually invert what you did too. So it kind of gives you the option of, I'm just going to delete this one, exit out of that. Okay, gives you an option to kind of sculpt things, and then if you don't like them, you can just get rid of that on the layers. So sometimes that's useful as well. Okay, I guess we're going to call that good for now. All right.